right now we are entering a phase that is extremely dangerous, and people need to act accordingly. We also need to make sure that we're not doing the fight, flight, or freeze. We need to breathe, we need to drink water, we need to sleep, we need to stay engaged, and sometimes we need to disengage and take care of ourselves. But right now is the shock and awe phase of this presidency, and we need to be very clear-headed about how we engage online and in the streets, because our safety and the safety of our communities is involved. For one, be very careful about what you say online. And this goes in a lot of different directions, but we have already heard, based on the ByteDance announcements that happened this weekend, that this app, we already know the other social media apps are basically beholden to this current administration. We already know the algorithms are used to misinform us. What people don't really think about, though, is the way that all of these tech billionaires are aligned with AI surveillance, and they are surveilling our conversations. They are surveilling how we talk about things, how we organize. A lot of us have gotten comfortable organizing online, and they are listening to us, and they are responding in real time before we can even react. And on a personal level, be careful what you say online, because what you say will be used to weaponize attacks, stochastic terror, and things like that against you. And specifically with the release and the pardoning of the J6 insurrectionists, the current administration has a militia that will be weaponized against people at a local level to remove people from their jobs, from their neighborhoods, and potentially threaten the livelihoods and the lives of people who are speaking out in resistance. And I specifically want to call out how we talk about Black women and people of color, but specifically Black women, as you see what's going on with Mayor Karen Bass in Los Angeles, as we've seen with Dr. Claudine Gay, former president of Harvard. Black women are and will continue to be used as a target for dismantling civil rights protections and protections for Americans in general. Black folks are not a monolith. We don't always agree. There are Black leftists, Black progressives, Black conservatives, Black evangelicals. We need to be very careful about how we have conversations online. We don't all have to agree, but when we criticize each other online, what we are doing is providing fodder for those who want to eliminate us, to create conflict and target leaders in our communities. I'm witnessing an uptick in bot activity, and that is their purpose. A lot of people don't understand that there is fully automated AI intentional misinformation and conflict that's being sown within the Black community. Digital Sista talks a lot about this. You should be following her constantly, and she's been tracking this since the beginning of the 2000s. But we need to be very careful. I've already seen threads within Black creators threads where bots come in pretending to be Black accounts to instigate conflict within our communities, and in some cases to draw us into saying things that then can be used to target us and creators that are actually making an impact. When I was personally targeted on the school board in SF, I was targeted by a Black mayor, and I'm very careful about what I say online when it comes to Black people. Call out other people as much as you want, but I knew that if I verbally engaged in critiquing the mayor based on valid criticisms, we didn't agree ideologically, that would be used to create a Black on Black fight online. It would be used not only to tear her down, but it would also be used to just diminish the Black community in general. So if you have critiques about Black leadership, and there are a lot of folks that are selling out right now, that is the way that whiteness works. Be very careful and be very specific about how you have those conversations. I think we need to have those conversations, but they need to be in-house, and these are public spaces, and these essentially are white spaces. They're not safe for us. Also, be very thoughtful about how we are going to be weaponized to fight one another. There is a lot of disinformation and intentional conflict being driven between Black folks and the immigrant community. That is why I understand there's a lot of Black folks, me included, who feel very frustrated that when we get targeted, other communities don't stand up for us, and there's a real need for us to pull back and take care of ourselves and not stick our necks out and be the champions, not be used as other people's mules. Okay. At the same time, when we speak about that frustration, and it's valid frustration, our words are used as weapons to drive a wedge between the immigrant community and the Black community. And I've seen that happen on this app, where certain posts are amplified because it creates conflict. We need to be careful about how we have those conversations, so that lateral violence is something that they want, because it keeps us separated. I will continue to share content on this app, but I will be very selective about what I share on openly public platforms. If you want to get connected, most of the work that needs to happen is offline. I will be creating communities for us to have those conversations. Please join me as a free member on my Patreon. If you have the resources, support my work. I will be elevating folks. I'm restarting my podcast, so I'll be able to elevate folks who are working on the ground, artists, educators, researchers, journalists who are pushing back. And I also have a wealth of resources that I've collected over the years. I will not be sharing those publicly. I will be sharing those within the communities that I create. So follow me on my other platforms. Please follow me on Patreon, where I will be having like a rolling newsletter and be sharing resources, articles, information, so that we can all keep our communities safe. Much love.